Pursuing PlayStation 2. Welcome to episode 3 of Pursuing PlayStation 2, my journey of collecting PS2 games that I loved as a child and also the ones that I missed out on the first time around. In this episode, my brother and I will be going out to different video game stores and hunting for the games that I have left on my list, as well as whatever he's hunting for. Going into this episode, I have 2 goals. After 2 episodes and about 50 games into the collection, I still don't have a Ratchet & Clank game. I just have the case for Size Matters, and I'm really hoping to change that. The second goal is to get the collection, or not the collection, but the list down to 20 games. I think we're at 41 now after adding a few games back to the list from some comments and just some things that I saw that I liked. And I'm hoping to get that down to 20. But before we get into all that hunting, Brad got me something pretty cool for the game room.
This is going to be a piece you are going to love for your PlayStation collection.
Alright.
I had it custom made. I traded off a pretty valuable game for it.
Okay. Custom made.
Mm-hmm.
No hints?
That's your only hint. It's custom made.
Well, that gives me no idea of what's in this box.
It's not a game, though.
Okay, it's not a game. And you already told me it's not a chainsaw controller for Resident Evil 4.
Mm-hmm. Would you like me to open it?
Yes, open the box. Holy shit. Does it light up or anything? Or just...
It does.
Ooh. It's got a little storage area too.
I had my buddy make this for you.
Well, hell yeah, that'll be displayed. I'll get it lit up and we'll show you guys what it looks like. I can't show you guys it lit up just yet because I'm wanting it displayed right there on top of this TV. But unfortunately, this cord is one of the few things in the world that's smaller than my Wii collection. So I have to get an extender or something before I can show you guys it lit up where I want it displayed. So my first stop is Super Mega Replay. I actually stopped in there on a day that my girlfriend and I took our daughter to this big indoor playground slash massive ball pit thing. I'm actually pretty jealous that it wasn't a thing when I was younger. But while I was in that town, I stopped in and looked at Super Mega Replay, and I ended up picking up this, NBA 2K5. Which I was really wanting to play at the time because the NBA playoffs were going on, and the Pacers actually made a good run this year until they ran into the Celtics. Yeah, that was the only game I was after that day because I was with my family, and I was the only one that wanted to be in there. But I knew I had to go back because they had this massive wall of PS2 games that the Chinese would even be impressed by. And wouldn't you know it, 2 weeks later, Brad and I had the same day off. So we went back and spent a lot of time in there and a lot of money. Well, mostly store credit because I took some things into trade. These are the games that are going to be leaving my collection to help fund episode 3. Black. I'm not a big first-person shooter game guy, like I said. Ghost Rider. I think I'd rather play God of War or Devil May Cry 3 before I ever touch that game again. Transformers, the game, it was fun, but I just don't think I'm going to play it again. And same with Pirates Legend of the Black Buccaneer. It was a fun game, but I just don't see myself playing it again because I got lost a lot when I played that, and I had to use a guide more than I would have liked to, and I'm probably not going to do that again. I'm also going to trade in this third-party controller so that way I can get some money back from it because it doesn't work with all my games. I also got a GameCube memory card that I'm not using, GameCube controller, and this thing for when I used to play Smash Bros. Here it is. The wall of PS2 games at Super Mega Replay. That's probably double the size of all the PS2 sections of all the stores I've been to collecting for the PS2 combined. Half of which are probably repeat sports titles, but it was still such a cool feeling to walk around and look for the PS2 section and realize it was this whole massive wall. They had some really cool stuff in there. Things from the list and things that were on the cusp of being a grail, but they didn't have God Hand. One thing we saw a lot of, though, was loose games with printed out art, but they weren't selling them at loose prices. Though, to be a little bit fair to the store, it seemed like they had their updated pricing on a system on their computers because a lot of the things we bought were actually under sticker price. But the cool thing was if it was worth more than the sticker price, like if it went up in value after they put it on the shelf, you still got it for the sticker price, which Brad ended up getting some good deals out of. So that was cool of them, but it was still annoying to see those printed off covers for games I was wanting. I don't mind if it's missing a manual, but I just need my games to be in cases and have that OG art. Unless that OG art is like $40, then a nice presentable reproduction is okay. Alright guys, I'm in here in the car with Brad.
What's up?
We're in the parking lot for Super Mega Replay. And guys, we had a super mega day for the PS2 collection. I traded some of those games in, and I ended up getting Tomb Raider Underworld and some games that weren't on the list. I got the Superman game I never even heard of, and I finally got some Ratchet and Clank games. And I got some Need for Speed Underground, a Scooby-Doo game that my girlfriend was wanting me to get. We got Jaws. I didn't know this was a thing, but it looks cool as heck. You can be a shark. Got SpongeBob. And this game looked pretty sweet. I looked up some gameplay while I was in there. And not only that, but we're starting a PS3 collection too. And Brad got a ton of games from my list.
So your girlfriend gave me $30 to buy your Father's Day present. So go ahead and pick out your $30 worth of games.
I don't know if I should go Sly 2 or PK Out of the Shadows. I think I'm gonna go with PK Out of the Shadows. And then Gun, he got a heck of a deal for Gun. And Van Helsing for 10.
Okay. Well, since I had a large amount of store credit, these are now yours.
For free?
Yep.
No shit?
Yep.
Dude, come on. I'm not crying, I'm just sweating because we're in this car in the middle of the fucking summer. Well, do you want to show them what you got?
Sure. Favorite Pokemon. Have to pick him up.
Brad is a major Flareon fan.
I'm not a big Pokemon, but Flareon's awesome. A lot of PS4. Days Gone.
Where'd they go?
I have no idea. Far Cry 5.
Alright.
Evergrace for a really good deal. I've been looking for that one for a while. Wolfenstein 2. Resident Evil 4 on PS4.
Always good to see it.
Titanfall 2.
Wait. Is this a good time to insert some clips from that night you stayed over and we tried to do a drunken Resident Evil 4 Let's Play?
Sure.
I almost forgot to put the glove on the table.
Oh my gosh, dude, you're too drunk.
I'm not that drunk.
Oh, I freaking hate quick time events on anything other than the Wii. Whew! Barely made it. Now I'm sweating real good.
Look at the shinies.
Can I knife them both? I know I can knife the second one.
They say, how could this happen?
Could this happen to me?
I haven't heard that song in forever.
Yeah, it's one of those things I remember when I drink. I forget. Oh, damn it.
Wait, The only gyms in this game spills.
No.
Metroid Redux. Another game I've been looking for a while on PS2, Monster Hunter.
And you got a pretty good deal on that one too.
Yeah, this one's actually closer to $30 and I got it for $13.
Alright, we're gonna wrap this up and turn the car on with some AC. Probably should have been doing that the whole time. With that trip, 11 more games got crossed off the list. And we still have our big trip to Bloomington coming up. But before that, Brad found 2 more games from my list for a good deal on a Discord group he's part of. Those are the only games I got from Brad this episode. And it's not for a lack of effort on his part. I had to tell him to hold off a couple times because I wanted to have a bigger budget for that Bloomington trip I was talking about. Today, Brad and I are venturing out a little farther this time. We're in Bloomington and we're at our first stop. We're here a little bit before it opened, but we're here at Half Price Books and we're gonna see what we can find. We found nothing. This is their entire gaming section. And here's a look at the PS2 games they had. So I gave up on this stop and just started looking through the books and comics when Brad told me to pull out my phone because I wanted to record this.
Where are you looking for the option, right?
Well, it's honestly been a disappointing day so far. We also stopped at Goodwill. I got some cords, which I'll show you what they're for. This is what those cords are for. It's looking really nice above this TV. And Jazzy Kirby looks pretty sweet in that lighting. Just to top off how disappointing this day is, there was a sticker machine where I put 50 cents in. And I got a fucking tattoo. So we're hopefully gonna turn our day around with some Chipotle over there to continue our Phoenix Resell-esque video where we go to Half Price Books and Chipotle. Alright, Brad, let's go get some nummies. We're about to head into Game World, and we are hoping that the PS2 selection is as full as our tummies right now. What are you hoping to find in there?
I'm looking to get my last grail, Xenosaga 3.
Let's go get it. They had a decent selection, but of course, the only games I could find from my list were loose. So to avoid completely taking an L on this stop, I turned toward the PS3 section. And this is what I got. Infamous 1 and 2 collection. It also says it came with Festival of Blood, but I'm guessing that would have been on an insert. Yeah, I hadn't played either of the Infamous games on the PS3. I'm playing through the first one now, and I'm starting to regret a choice that I made back in the day. Who remembers when the PS3 got hacked around Christmas one year? I don't remember what the year was, but they rolled out as an apology like 5 games to choose from, and you got to pick 2 to keep. And Infamous was one of them, but I didn't pick it. I ended up going with Dead Nation, this top-down zombie shooter that I could play with friends, and Little Big Planet. But yeah, I'm playing through the first one now, and it's really fun. And I'll just save you guys some time. My brother and I also went to GameStop because there's a channel that I've been watching a lot. They call it the Y2K Collector. And he's been having a lot of success at GameStop, and I hadn't been into GameStop for years, so me and my brother saw one and stopped in. They didn't have any PS2 games, of course, because, you know, the biggest trip we planned. We pretty much came home empty-handed, but I found Brutal Legend there for pretty cheap, so I went ahead and picked that up. After another lackluster stop for the PS2 collection, and losing half an hour because my car started to overheat in a traffic jam,
It's hot.
we called off the trip and headed home. But Brad told me about this thrift store he goes to that was on our way home and sometimes has video games. Not this time though. And then we were in a different type of traffic jam. There's this hunting game my dad used to play a lot the first time I owned a PS2. And in the opening cutscene it reminded me of this trip because the hunter had his sights on this deer, just like I was aiming to get PS2 games. And then this bear comes out of nowhere and attacks. So the hunter ended up getting the bear instead. It wasn't what he wanted, but at least he's got a story to tell and something to show for it. The bear would be the PS3 games in this situation. Because this trip didn't go as well as I was expecting it to, and because after buying the PS3 games that I did buy, filling up my tank, and buying a $15 burrito from Chipotle, I still had about half the budget that I set out for this video. So I decided to take some of that remaining budget and see what I could find on eBay. And this is what I got. Well, I already had the case for this, but I ended up picking up a loose copy of The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. And then I got Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Space Chimps, which Space Chimps and Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy were like a little over $5 with shipping. And Primal, which I'm really excited for this one. Whenever I was testing it out, it felt like a 20-minute cutscene at the very beginning. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm excited to play it.
Don't make me hurt you.
And this isn't a PS2 game, but it was on the list, so I'm gonna go ahead and cross it off because there was like a $30 difference between this version and the PS2 version, and that's Obscure the Aftermath. I don't know what it is. I actually like horror games on the Wii. It's because I'm a little bitch and the Wii makes me feel safe. And like Obscure the Aftermath, I decided to take Eco and Shadow of the Colossus off the PS2 list because I'm going to put it on the PS3 list and get it for PS3. I think it would look a little bit better. So that's 2 more games crossed off the list without even having to buy something. Until I have to buy it for PS3. And this would not be an episode of Pursuing PlayStation if it didn't have a Nerd Zone trip in it. I took some stuff to trade into Nerd Zone. The Ratchet & Clank and Prince of Persia games are just empty cases, and the other games were non-list games that I took a chance on, but just didn't really care for them. I got distracted by the games in the case. He had some cool stuff that day, but luckily for the PS2 journey, I already had all those Switch games that I would have wanted. I got a quick shot of the PS2 section, which is actually pretty impressive compared to the size of the store. The only bad thing is, Brad and I have been picking through it since February. But I was still able to walk out with the list game, and that game is Sly 3: Honor Among Thieves, which completes the trilogy on PS2. And I also got Crush Hour, which is a Twisted Metal-like game, but with WWE characters. And before the matches, I guess, it plays the intro music and video that you would see on TV if you watch SmackDown and Raw.
Entering in the modified muscle car, Kane!
It's really bizarre. It's not a very good game, and it probably should leave the collection and make more room for another game that I would probably enjoy more. but there's just something about seeing The Rock's character model with the short T-Rex arms that can just bench press my frown into a smile. So for now, it's going to stay on the shelf. But yeah, that's all the pickups for episode 3. And with that, the list is sitting at 17 games left to cross off. It's been a long journey so far, and I feel like we're only about halfway through because I feel like it's going to take just as long to get the last 17 games as it did the first 70 or so. Because, well, like, I'm running out of like $10 games to buy. Everything seems like it's going to be 15 and up, and then I still have one Grail game to get. So it might be a while before you guys see an episode 4, but I do have some plans for other kinds of gaming videos to keep you guys entertained while you wait for episode 4. I want to make a video where I talk about some of the video games that I've been playing recently, and just different kinds of things. I might even try some Let's Plays eventually, though it's hard to get some free quiet time when you have a 2-year-old that likes to bring destruction to your house. But I'll go ahead and show you guys the collection right now. What we're up to, I think it was 67 games that I counted. Before I end the episode, I wanted to say thanks for the support on the first 2 episodes. The second one is almost at 1,000 views and has 25 likes. And on top of that, there's been quite a few comments, which is always nice to see. I'm at 40 subscribers right now, which I know isn't really a striking number to most, but before I uploaded the first 2 episodes, I was only sitting at 10. So I'm happy with it. It's like Eminem said, until I collapse. There's a certain feeling you get when you reel and you spit, and 40 people are feeling your shit. Thanks for feeling my shit, guys. I'll see you in the next video.